Hi guys, Dr. Paul Hodgson here, owner of New Wave Stress and Pain Relief, and we've been having a lot of success treating autoimmune cases over the years. Our treatment has evolved, as you might imagine, but autoimmune cases are on the rise, and I wanted to share with you guys a few things that we do that's maybe unique and that might help you guys if you or a loved one suffering with an autoimmune condition. So, one of the things that we have to recognize with an autoimmune condition, the standard medical model will tell you that we don't know what causes them and we don't know how to fix them. We just basically know how to treat the symptoms and try to get the immune system to calm down, usually with some pretty intense drugs. And those drugs have some pretty hardcore consequences and side effects. So that never sat well with me, understanding that we have this whole area of medicine that we just haven't figured out yet. So I'm always interested in what's working with people. I look at success cases that other doctors have had, and I try to figure out why are some people getting results and some people aren't. Autoimmune conditions, much like allergies, are a case where the immune system is in overdrive. It's acting not in the way that it was built. And so the mechanistic brain of me kind of has to question, well, what causes this? And then we can get in, if we understand the cause, we can get into how do you fix it. And the cause of a lot of autoimmune conditions, as well as allergies, happens to be proteins in the bloodstream that shouldn't be there. So this is not the protein like that you eat from your steak, although that could be a problem. But it's really everything is made out of proteins. Everything biological is made out of proteins. So plants are made out of proteins, animals are made out of proteins, viruses are made out of proteins, and bacteria are made out of proteins. So our immune system is set up to look at and recognize the proteins on the outside of things. And whenever your body brings in protein for digestion, it always brings it in and tags it and marks it and carries it around with a transporter protein. So it kind of lets the immune system know to leave it alone, it's safe, don't worry, we already broke this down, and it's just fuel or building blocks. But the immune system is looking for proteins that aren't traveling with these carrier proteins, these transporter proteins, and with those, it sets off an alarm system that says, hey, we may have an invader in here. So proteins are, in autoimmune conditions, proteins are somehow getting inside the body, inside the blood. And there's two main mechanisms that this happens. One is intentional and one's unintentional. The intentional one is in vaccinations. We're literally injecting a whole bunch of proteins into the bloodstream. With those intentional proteins, they had to be manufactured somehow, they had to be grown somehow. So they grow them in what's called adjuvants. These are things that aren't part of the vaccine, but they're part of the vaccine. So they go into the arm, and those adjuvants tend to have a lot of these proteins in there. And so this is a huge source of proteins making their way into the bloodstream, activating the immune system. The other one is a leaky gut. So if you think about what the gut is supposed to do, it's supposed to be a tube from here to there. And anything that's in the tube is actually outside of the body. So if something, and the gut's main job is to digest and pull nutrients in that it needs, but a very, very important second part is to keep the bad stuff in the tube so that it ends up in the toilet. If your body doesn't do a good job of keeping the things in the tube, this is what we call leaky gut. And this can lead to a triggering of autoimmune conditions. So there's some people that have kind of naturally more predisposition to these types of conditions, but the two main ways that we're going to see autoimmune conditions triggered is that protein getting into the body through vaccination or proteins getting into the body through a leaky gut. So treating these, we want to teach the patient where their sources might be, and if you already have an autoimmune condition, we probably want to limit the amount of proteins that we're letting get in the blood. This then kind of goes on to helping the gut heal. So a diet that's focused on eliminating anything that could be disrupting the gut and ripping holes in the gut, allowing us to have a leaky gut, is a big piece of what we do. For a lot of people, that alone will work. But it is a slow process. So first we have to heal the leaky gut, stop proteins getting into the blood, and then we have to give the body enough time for it to calm down. Some people don't have the kind of time we're talking about. That might be several years to allow the immune system to calm down. And sometimes with an autoimmune condition, the amount of stress that that's giving you to your external environment and to yourself, to your lifestyle, will prevent you from healing further. So if you need more help in getting better beyond just the healing of the gut, we have ways to help turn the immune system down as well. Part of that is working on the 3 axes that we talked about with stress. So we can sometimes work on chemical. What are you putting into your body? What are you allowing your body to interact with? Physical, sometimes there's issues like an organ is slightly out of place or it needs some help. We call this visceral manipulation, helping the organ kind of flow right and move right. Really common with gallbladders, with pancreas at times, with the large intestine, sometimes with the small intestine. The stomach is very common for this to be helpful. And then oftentimes it's with dealing with mental emotional stresses. So this is a big area where we focus. One of the main tools we use for that is neuro-emotional technique. So wrapping up everything we just talked about, autoimmune conditions tend to be caused or triggered by something. The trigger, in my opinion, is oftentimes proteins being in the blood that shouldn't be. And so stopping those proteins from getting in the blood is a key piece of treating it, and then getting the immune system to calm down rapidly. And then the last piece that I wanted to talk about that we haven't mentioned here is biofeedback. This is a piece of technology that we added to the practice that has helped take our autoimmune treatment to the next level. Biofeedback is where we're actually going to help neutralize inappropriate responses that your immune system, your nervous system, and your body makes to different stimulus. So our biofeedback is called the QI5, and it involves electrodes, laser treatment, and a form of homeopathy. That's, I think, one of the things that helps us get monumentally different results than everybody else in autoimmune treatment. Thanks.